Scene is set at Desperate Dan's. Edwin sits there now at a usual back corner table after having made a very short, quick shopping trip. A new pair of pants, a new shirt, new socks and unmentionables. Short list, of course. And a small bag to put one set of clothes in. Nothing bulky. Nothing over the top. And laundry for once. For once he sits in Desperate Dan's, not covered in soil, or not covered in clothes soiled by dirt, by the smell of pine leaves, maple, whatever it is, bark, and whatever lies on the bottom floor of a building crawl space in the south of the city. He takes a sip of his coffee and continues writing the code for his VPN service portal for his 10-spot profile. The link that will take his customers to the service area. Just going to really quickly make a roll number 2. Intelligence computer. Book learning specialty will apply. No, it won't. I believe the difficulty was 7, so... The scene opens as he's typing away, rapidly clicking a small wireless mouse, moving between browser windows, double-checking, frantically taking notes, occasionally stopping for a sip of coffee, and a small pastry on a plate beside him. Whoops. Slight technical difficulties. I'll keep going, though. As he continues his work, he seems to be at least one step closer. The code that he uses to create the link for remote access over a secure network seems to be a little bit better. There's 2 successes on that. He feels comfortable, a lot more comfortable with his progress this time around than he had initially. He sits back in his chair, taking a bite of the pastry and a sip of coffee as he continues his work. As the scene opens.
Indeed, the scene opens in the Dirty Dan's, Desperate Dan's, such a place where you can unwind, find some kind of peace and serenity. Unless, of course, you're Sly Malone, who is going over something, in a rather small laptop uh, footage. It looks like he's extremely focused on this particular laptop and working on it.
Edwin, whether he's seen or not, he continues sitting at his table, typing away, frantically writing notes. If you're around, or seeing as you're sitting inside, go and make a perception alertness roll. If you're distracted, difficulty 7. Otherwise, standard. Not at first. Takes you a couple moments, maybe a double or triple take, but somebody looks familiar, sitting across the, ironically, across the cafe. If you try to, put your nose in the air to try to get an aroma over the thick smell of cold and warm pastry, hot brewing coffee, and chocolate and other things. No familiar scent to go off of.
As Sly kind of looks about the place, looking at someone in particular a couple of times before he shuts the laptop closed and walks over to where Edwin is sitting. He doesn't say hello, he doesn't make any kind of small talk. He just kind of goes, just one of the people I needed to see.
Edwin doesn't immediately look up and just continues typing very quickly. His fingers flying across the keyboard almost like a pianist playing an instrument.
Were you trying to look up busty shemales, bustyasianshemales.com? They don't. They blocked that. They blocked that site.
Huh? What? What was that? I didn't,
No,
I didn't
nothing.
follow you.
Never mind.
Oh.
Sly kind of he looks a little more jumpy than as what Edwin would have previously seen.
As Edwin looks at Sly, he cocks his head curiously. Not the way a person would, more like the way like a canine would at you. actually rather odd for, well, such a young Gangrel.
As as Sly sees that, he is rather off-put by such a thing, but he decides to put that aside for the moment, not cause too much of a fuss about it. He he gets closer to Edwin. You been near the woods lately? The park, the national park.
Not for the last 3 days.
Sly kind of quickly opens up the laptop and kind of moves it towards where, at least in a way where Edwin could kind of see it, but nobody else could unless they were looking behind him. You know what I mean?
Okay. The table is a square two-top. There's enough room for like 2 laptops back to back to sit, but if you turn it, you like turn it towards the wall and then toward Edwin to do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like that basically. He using the mouse. He kind of moves towards a couple of not video stills, but obviously clips. The dates are from a couple of nights ago, actually. Perhaps those 3 nights ago that Edwin is talking about. Perhaps he goes to the first one, which is where it's him walking through the woods. Edwin would see him stepping into a pile of animal crap, and then as Sly kind of quickly fast forwards that, he gets to the part where you see the knocked over power line. Quickly he exits out of that one and goes to the other one, and it's him again in the woods, going by a river, and there's a strange kind of orb. As Sly he's fast forwarding things, so you can't really make out some of the like any voices or anything like that. It's very garbled, but you can clearly see that there's some kind of orb there. There's stuff kind of rustling in the in the trees, that sort of thing.
The previous footage didn't seem too odd. Somebody hit a power pole and knocked it down. It's not unusual.
What was unusual was that there were no animals in the area. It was completely silent.
Somebody could have been joyriding through the national park after hours. They snuck on. It happens, right? I mean, I don't mean to discount, what you saw or what you think was going on, but I mean, people get up to shenanigans like that all the time. So if a power line was hit, it would still carry current, and that kind of, I think that kind of current would possibly deter animals. Electricity does carry in the air.
What about the other footage?
I don't even begin to know what to make of that. I mean, I'm going to have him make, it'll just be an intelligence for him, but it'll be intelligence occult, but he has no occult, so I'm going to make this difficulty 9 in total. So
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah. I don't even begin to know what to make of that.
Sly just he kind of looks about the place again and quickly puts the laptop closed. I met a guy from New Orleans. His name is Toulouse LeBeau.
But so he was, so he's like, he was made here, went there, or he was made there and came here.
He quickly just kind of looks around, seeing if there's anybody. He's like, no, he's from New Orleans.
But that means
He's from New Orleans.
and that means that we shouldn't like talk to him, right? That's what I was told. We're not supposed to trust anyone, not on the inside.
And Sly goes, and that's exactly what I want to figure out. Look, you, me, and Toulouse, we're going to go into the woods. We're going to go look for whatever it is going on in there.
Okay. Is there any way you can give me that footage? Maybe I can take a look at it. I'll make sure that I encrypt it and keep it from being shared, of course.
Sly takes out something from a small pocket. It looks like a thumb drive. Looks like a very cheap one. He connects it to his laptop and moves the clips over to it and pulls it out. Obviously, with they are copied, of course. He gives it to him. Do not lose that. Don't let anybody else see that.
He takes it and puts it into his pants pocket. Pretty quickly, actually.
I don't mean to cut this short. Just letting you know. Sly is as the stuff is being transferred. He's looking about. He's looking to see if anybody coming close to their area and is leaving the premises, if you will.
There is actually somebody walking. Well, there's two people. One person's walking into the premises right as another person opens the door, leaving with their coffee in a small bag.
Sly just kind of looks at Edwin. He says, I gotta go. And without another word, he just gets up with his stuff and he leaves. In a hurry, actually. And, well, what happens with that? Well, we'll see.
As Sly gets up, Edwin takes the last bite of his pastry, trying to savor every bite. It's difficult. He chases it down with the coffee. Again, the flavor doesn't fully stick, doesn't fully stay. Before it eventually leaves an ashy aftertaste in his mouth. Looks toward the door, seeing how edgy Sly was before he left. He sits back closes his profile. I'll continue working on that later. He takes his cell phone out of a pocket and opens the back. Does a quick search via YouTube for how to hack a cell phone for free service. He does find something. He quickly makes his way to take a small toolkit, the only tools he really has, other than a multimeter. Takes a small standard flathead screwdriver and the SIM card out of the phone. As he watches, hearing the audio through a pair of small earbuds attached to his computer, he locates the specific part of the chipset of the SIM card, and he begins with the screwdriver to shave off the gold contact in the upper right hand side of the back. Just gonna make a quick dex and technology. Difficulty 5 because he's using a precision tool and taking his time. Okay. As Edwin sits there, scraping away just the gold layer top till he starts to get the silver, making sure not to touch any of the others. He listens to the video play out. Smile creeps across his face as the scene fades to black.